Hi everyone, I'm here today with my sister who joined me already a few months ago when we did the Harry Potter tag and when we were in London. And today we're back because we thought we're gonna play a little game. So maybe you know the game Two Truths and One Lie, like when you meet new people and you introduce yourself and you're like, hi, my name is Freda and I like books and I own an elephant or something. And so we thought we're gonna do this as a book edition. So we both looked at our bookshelves and we thought about 4 books that we have read that the other person hasn't read, and we're gonna talk about those books and we're gonna tell 2 truths and 1 lie, and we're gonna have to find out what's the lie. And then in the end we're gonna try to also do the same with a book that both of us has read. So we're gonna see how that works out. I'm gonna start because this is my channel. And the first book that I chose is the book Damned by Chuck Palahniuk. I read that 3 years ago, so it's been ages since I read that. But basically this, I'm gonna read the Goodreads description because I don't have my books with me because we're at our mum's and my books are in my flat, so the book description on Goodreads says, the newest Palahniuk novel concerns Madison, or she's also called Maddie in the book, a 13-year-old girl who finds herself in hell, unsure of why she will be there for eternity, but tries to make the best of it. I'm gonna read you 3 statements, and you're gonna say what's the truth and what's the lie. Number 1. Maddie meets Hitler and rips off his moustache. Number 2. Maddie sends tweets to Satan. Number 3. Maddie calls people from hell, asking them stupid and annoying telemarketing questions during their meal times.
Well, I think the Hitler one is true because it sounds too good not to be true, basically.
Yes, that's a truth.
And yeah, I would say the tweets one is a lie because like I could imagine people from hell like calling me while I'm eating, so I'm gonna say that the tweeting one is a lie.
Yes, that is true. The tweets were a lie.
If people nowadays go to hell and they're like, oh, I can tweet here. It really help though.
You don't have Wi-Fi in hell.
Okay, my next one is about the, I think it's called Gemstone Trilogy in English, like in German it's Edelstein Trilogy, which like translates to gemstone, so I think that's right. And it's 3 books, obviously, like gemstone.
Like trilogy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I meant. I would say it's been a long day, but it really hasn't, so. It's a book series by Kirsten Gier. It's a German author, so I have all the books in German. And it's about a girl called Gwendolyn, or I think in the English version she's actually called Gwyneth. But like she's mostly called Gwen, so I'm just gonna say Gwen because it's easier. And she learns that she's actually a time traveler because that's a gene which is passed down in her family. So yeah, that's kind of the plot, and it's like young adult fantasy whatever stuff. So yeah. And my 3 facts are: Helena Bonham Carter is mentioned by name in one of the books. Gwen's cousin sings the song Paparazzi at some point.
Lady Gaga's Paparazzi.
Yeah, right, Lady Gaga's Paparazzi. And Gwen has a cat named Hermione because she's a big Harry Potter fan.
What? Oh dear, okay. Okay, it was published in 2009. When did Paparazzi come out?
I don't know. Probably 2009 because like the fame. But like there's 3 books, so it's possible that it wasn't in the first one.
So the questions, the statements are all about the trilogy.
Yeah, they actually,
okay.
Like, actually, most of this happens in the last book, which was published a little bit later on.
I know that they sing the time warp in the film, don't they?
I don't know.
Oh! I'm gonna say the paparazzi one is a lie because I think they sing the time hop in the film.
No, that's wrong. Paparazzi is in the books because
okay.
Because like the time warp they actually sing in the 2nd movie, and they like in the books she sings Memory from the movie Cats, but I don't think they got the license or something, or maybe because the actress wasn't that much of a great singer, so they put in the time warp, which is a little bit easier. And then the 3rd one, which is this one, her cousin sings paparazzi at a party because she gets really drunk.
Wait, so weird. Okay, then I'm gonna say that Helena Bonham Carter is the lie.
No, the cat is the lie. Because like Helena Bonham Carter is mentioned because she's like, oh, I look like Helena Bonham Carter's character in Harry Potter. I look so angry or something like that.
Okay, so they do mention Harry Potter.
They do, yeah. But,
okay.
but like she doesn't have a cat.
Okay, interesting. Wow, YA is such a wild party. My next book is a book that I read fairly recently, which is called Jitterbug Perfume, and it's by Tom Robbins. So you have two timelines.
Right.
It starts in ancient Bohemia,
Yeah.
around the time where Christianity comes up. A bit earlier, I think. And then you have another timeline in, I guess, the 70s, 80s, which is when this was written, in America.
Okay.
And you have this first timeline, you have a man and a woman, and they want to be immortal. So they do rituals to be immortal. And then in the modern day timeline you have people who work on perfume, who like, what's that called? Perfume creator people.
Alright.
Okay, so it's a really bizarre book. I chose the weirdest books from my bookshelves that I could find.
Yeah. I noticed.
So, the perfume that is mentioned in the blurb was created so as to hide the stink of this.
That sounds like something that would happen, so yeah.
Priscilla, who is a person in the modern day timeline, wants to find the recipe for the perfect taco. And number 3, the immortality ritual includes singing for 3 hours a day.
Okay, I don't think the first one is a lie, because like the first one and the last one, they're like really like more mystical and more like immortality and the god. So I have to say that the second one has to be true, because you wouldn't put something in there that's completely different if it wasn't true. Like, okay, the third one is a lie.
Why are you so intelligent? Yes, they have a lot of different immortality rituals, but singing for 3 hours a day isn't one.
My next book is The Hobbit by what's his name? J.R.R. Tolkien. I'm sorry, oh god, I probably offended someone right now. Yeah, it's The Hobbit, or in German it's called The Little Hobbit, which is really cute. It's a prequel to Lord of the Rings. Yeah, and it's about the Hobbit, Bilbo, who goes on a quest with 12 dwarves, oh, hard word, to reclaim the mountain and the treasure that the dwarves used to own, but it was stolen from the dragon Smoke. But I think you saw the movies, didn't you?
Mm-mm. I saw Lord of the Rings.
Oh, I thought you saw the movies.
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm not gonna waste my time watching Martin Freeman. I'm never gonna watch the movies. No.
Okay, great. So, my 3 facts are: when Bilbo returned from his adventure, people actually assumed he was dead because he was gone for so long, so they started selling his stuff. The second one is that Gandalf only appears in 2 scenes, one at the very beginning and one at the very end. And the names of the dwarves, oh god, I have to look it up, I wrote it down, are Thorin, Fili, Kili, Balin, Dwalin, Oin, Gloin, Dori, Nori, Ori, Befor, Bofor, and Bombor.
Are you kidding me? Can I read this list?
You can read it, yes.
I think you wouldn't come up with names like that. And I think I've heard at least Thorin, and I think Fili and Kili as well. So I'm gonna say that that one's true. I'm gonna say that the first one is a lie. That Bilbo, that people started selling Bilbo stuff. That's true. So the Gandalf thing is a lie.
Yeah, he technically is only at the beginning and the end, but more than 2 scenes. So
Okay.
it's kind of like a technicality.
So we're gonna do the third one for me. It's a book that I read in French. But I'm not gonna talk about all the stuff in French.
Thank you.
It's called Métaphysique des Tubes by Amélie Nothomb. It's about this small girl. I don't think she has a name. I'm not sure. I don't think so. And when she's first born, she doesn't do anything. She's kind of like a plant. She just lies around. She doesn't cry. She doesn't do anything. Like, you can give her food and she's like, okay, but she doesn't cry for food or anything. up to a certain point in her life, and that's kind of it. And she's a really bizarre kid, and she's able to speak. Like when she's like 3 years old, she's just like that, and she can speak
Okay.
French and Japanese without problem. So
That's weird.
it's a really bizarre book.
Okay.
So my first fact about this is, as a really young child, the narrator tries to drown herself. The narrator only stops her 6-month crying fit, like she cries for about 6 months at a time, after eating chocolate.
Me.
And and the narrator is able to speak with fish.
Drowning yourself seems really hard, but that's why she tried. Maybe like how old was she when she tried to drown herself?
I think 3 or 4.
3 or 4.
But it was on purpose.
Wasn't-
She purposefully tried to do that.
Mm-hmm. It will kind of work with the she could speak to fish because which one was the second one?
The second one was that she cried for about 6 months at a certain time when she was about 2.
Oh, that sounds great.
And then she had some chocolate and she stopped.
That sounds kind of legit. I'm gonna say that she can't actually speak to fish.
I just can't lie.
It's true.
I just can't lie.
It's true. My next book is by Agatha Christie and it's called At Bertram's Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just gonna read the text because I think murder mysteries are kind of hard to describe. So
Yeah.
When Miss Marple comes up from the country for a holiday in London, she finds what she's looking for at Bertram's Hotel: traditional decor, impeccable service, and memories of a childhood. What she doesn't expect is the unmistakable atmosphere of danger behind the highly polished veneer. Yet, not even Miss Marple can foresee the violent chain of events set in motion when an eccentric guest makes his way to the airport on the wrong day. So yeah, it's a really good book, by the way. Okay, my 3 facts are: Hercule Poirot, who is another detective in Agatha Christie stories, makes a cameo appearance in the book. The second one is that a police officer is referred to as father by the other people. And the last one is that one of the main cast, I would say, or hotel guests, is a 17-year-old girl who's to become really rich when she comes of age because she inherits her father's money.
That sounds so much like an Agatha Christie premise. I'm gonna say that the Poirot one is not the truth because... Yeah, I'm just gonna say that was a lie.
You're right.
I'm actually right!
Yeah, I actually, for some reason, I thought that Poirot was in that book as well. I don't know why. I don't know. So I just skimmed through it earlier and I was like, wait, he isn't in this book. And then I googled it, whether they ever met, and they didn't, so yeah.
Now we're on to the last books that only one of us has read. And my choice for that one is The Accidental by Ali Smith. And this book is about a family who is on summer vacation in kind of a country, in a vacation home. And one day a woman appears, her name is Amber, and she just arrives at that home, and because the family don't really speak to each other, everyone thinks, oh, she knows this other person. So I can't remember the names. I think the mom's name is Eve, or Eva, I think Eve, and she's a writer, and then her husband is a university professor who casually sleeps with the students, and Eve knows that. Then they have 2 children, or maybe they're only Eve's children. I'm not quite sure if he's actually the father, but they have a son who's about 16, I think, who's called Magnus, and then they have another daughter who I imagine to be around 12.
That will make great play.
And her name is Astrid. So, and then Amber arrives in this situation. Everyone thinks, oh, she knows this other person.
That would make a really, really good play. Like, playwrights get on it.
Okay, so the first thing that I have here is Amber destroys Astrid's camcorder on purpose. Amber paints the family's London flat in a new colour. Amber takes on the habit of having sex with Magnus in the town's church. I also have to say Amber is about 30 and Magnus is about 16.
Okay, well, that sounds like truth. Since I don't really know the story, I don't know why she would destroy it or why she would paint it, but like, Yeah, I think she didn't paint.
Yeah,
there.
that's true. She did something to their flat, but it wasn't painting.
So I'm right.
Yes. You're right.
Did I get everything right up until now?
Yes. I just can't lie. That's the problem.
My next book is this one. It's called Center of the World, I think in English. In German it's Die Mitte der Welt. And yeah, it's German originally, so I have it in German. It's by Andreas Steinhöfel. And it's a coming of age story about a boy named Phil who grew up with his sister, his twin sister, and his mom. The dad left their mom when she was still pregnant. And yeah, we watched the movie to that book earlier
Last year.
Last year. Alright, so you know something about it, but not everything. Yeah, it's a nice book, I think. You don't like it, so yeah.
I couldn't get into it. I started reading it, but the writing style was too much. This typical way writing style.
Yeah,
I just couldn't get into it. I was just bored.
To be honest, I read it when I was like 14 or something,
Yeah.
so I still like it. But okay. Phil's best friend is the principal's daughter. My first fact. My second fact is that Phil and his boyfriend are caught skinny dipping at night. And the last one is that Phil's boyfriend, who's called Nicholas by the way, that Nicholas is shot in the eye with an air gun and therefore loses eyesight on that eye.
And I saw the film, so judging from that, I would say that the skinny dipping is true. I would say that his best friend is the principal's daughter is the truth.
So the shot in the eye.
So the eye is the lie.
It's not.
Oh, god damn it. Okay, so what is the lie?
The lie is skinny dipping.
Really?
Yeah, his sister and a friend of hers were caught skinny dipping. While maybe Phil and Nicholas went skinny dipping, I don't remember, they weren't caught skinny dipping at night.
Okay.
That much I'm sure of. So yeah. And he's
I'm
actually
so
shot in the
bad
eye.
at this. So now we're on to the books that both of us have read.
Let's do that for the win, because realistically you couldn't win anymore. So let's say that one is 10 points.
My choice is a German children's book, which is called Momo.
And it's really unfair because the last time I read it, we can't even say that, is when our mother read it to us when we were children. So talk about fairness.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about that book by the way in an upcoming video about my favourite books of my childhood. So keep your eyes out for that, but I'm gonna be talking about that book right now. So this book is basically about this girl called Momo who suddenly arrives in a little town. And she's kind of like a very sweet person. She's alone. She's accompanied by a tortoise, and all the children love her. The adults feel very comfortable and very calm around her. And then one day, a group of men in grey who have like grey suits and grey skin and grey hats, and they smoke grey cigars. They arrive, and basically these grey men want to try to steal the people's time. And Momo eventually visits or meets this person called Master Horror. It sounded like horror, but it's like just like, you know, the hour, like that kind of, I don't know. Like, she meets that guy and they talk about their plan, how to defeat those men in grey. And Master Horror says that he is going to sleep and then the time will stop. That's my first fact. When he sleeps, the time will stop.
Oh,
My second fact is that the story is set in a small town in Italy.
I think that's true.
And my third fact is that the men in grey smoke cigars made from people's time.
I think the Italy one is true. I think I remember that. And I know that they steal their time, but do they smoke cigars made from their time? I don't remember any of that Master Horror plot. I still remember that he existed and that like her tortoise had something to do with him, I think. But I'm gonna have to say that the first one is a lie.
That he sleeps and then
Yeah.
the time stops. That's true.
Oh really? Then the one with the cigars, right?
That's also true.
What?
Yeah. It's not set in Italy.
It is!
No, it's it's not. It's set in a little town without a name, and it looks a bit like Italy, but it's never explicitly mentioned that it's Italy. Like there's a TV series, a kind of a cartoon series that used to be on TV that we used to watch.
Yeah.
That's why it looks like Italy. Yeah, it's not set in Italy, at least not explicitly.
That's weird. Alright. My last book is Harry Potter. Like, we did the Harry Potter challenge. It's gonna be linked in the description below. Watch out for that. Watch it if you haven't seen it. It's really good.
It was a lot of fun doing that.
It
so
was.
I figured I'd watch it.
So yeah, shameless plugging. And yeah, I don't think I have to summarize Harry Potter, do I? I have 3 facts for you. Gilderoy Lockhart's favorite color is forget-me-not blue. Rita Skeeter has 3 golden teeth. And Arabella Fig broke her leg when she tripped over one of her cats.
Ah.
I thought I was gonna go character based on those ones.
Yes, that's really good.
Some of my favorite characters in there.
I think the one with Lockhart is true. I think I remember that because it's not been so long that I reread that book. They all sound like true.
Don't they, right?
Did Mrs. Fig... I know that she broke her leg, but did she break it while tripping over her cats? I'm gonna say that the Rita Skeeter one is a lie.
That's true.
So the Mrs. Fig one is a lie. Fucking Christ, really?
His favorite color is lilac. You should know that. I googled it and there was actually a quiz and like forget-me-not blue was an option and I was like, okay, I think that's the right one. And I clicked on it and was like, no, it's not true. And I was like, oh, okay.
But why do we think that?
Because like in one scene where he's, I think in the first scene he's seen, he wears a forget-me-not blue cape or something like that. So I think that kind of stuck with us. Or something like Lockhart seems like the kind of person who would be like really particular.
Yeah.
Like my favorite color, forget-me-not blue.
Okay, wow. I think I lost, didn't I?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Did I get any point at all?
Yeah, you get 1 point.
I got the Agatha Christie one.
Right.
I got 1 point. And you got 4, right? Okay. My camera battery is flashing. We're done with this game. This is going to be a hell to edit. I'm already annoyed. But this was a lot of fun filming.
It was.
And if you have any friend or sibling or partner or whoever who is comfortable sitting in front of a camera, do that. Do that
it's
game.
really fun.
It's a lot of fun. You're going to get angry, but you're also going to have fun. So do that game. Tell me if you do it. I'm going to watch it. It was a lot of fun doing this with you today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!